Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Call Lighthouse CPAs 850-785-5254.
Hi folks, it's Tracy with Tracy's Fine Jewelry and Coin and Bullion Reserves. Did you know that we do more than just sell some of the finest jewelry in town? We can engrave on your wedding band, locket, Yeti cup, or almost anything. Need your watch battery changed? We can do that too. Our expert will even evaluate your coin collection. And of course, we always pay top dollar for your old gold and silver jewelry. See, there's a lot more to Tracy's Fine Jewelry than a lot of pretty sparkly things. Come and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
There's nothing more satisfying than helping you find the perfect vehicle. And this month, find something you love at just 2.99% APR on our most popular models. Plus 90 days until you make your first payment. Like the 2024 Camry with stylish good looks and impressive performance. Or the 2024 Corolla, built for comfort and style with top-notch tech. Panama City Toyota. For over 30 years, where relationships are born.
Offer expires March 4th. For details, visit PanamaCityToyota.com.
It's Hershey's Choco Mania at Krispy Kreme Donuts. Try the Galaxy Brownie with Hershey's Dark Fudge, or delight your chocolate taste buds with Hershey's Chocolate Iced Donut. How about the Black and White Chocolate Chip Dream? And overload your taste buds with Hershey's Overload Fudge Cake. OMG, it's Hershey's Choco Mania going on now at Krispy Kreme Donuts in front of HCA Hospital, 23rd Street, Panama City, and the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan.
You recycle, right?
Did you know that recycling is one of the most important things we can do for the environment and for the economy? And recycling can help protect our oceans and waterways. Sadly, each year, 8 million metric tons of waste goes into oceans. That's the equivalent of 5 bags full of waste stacked on top of each other and covering every foot of coastline in the world. That much is going in every year. And 6 out of 10 of the most commonly found items in the oceans are fully recyclable. So we need to start recycling more, and we need to recycle right to get these valuable materials back to the manufacturers to use and to keep them out of oceans and waterways. But let's face it, recycling's confusing. We have a solution, and it's working.
The standardized labels help people recycle more, and they help people recycle right. Let's recycle across America, and let's recycle right.
To learn more about this solution and how to recycle right to protect our oceans and waterways, visit letsrecycleright.org.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Haven, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Get ready.
Let's play the game.
Sports Talk Radio will never be the same.
I just don't think that anybody's going to succeed in that system.
It's a bad organization.
It's just a bad organization.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Onion pickles, onions pickles.
Live and local. Look, it's impressive. On ESPN.
Northwest Florida.
What's going on, Northwest Florida? You guys are now tuned into the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes along with Tyler Bishop and Caveman Rick. We will be joined at 4:20 today by Max Delyden. That'll be our only guest. We'll get into Tyler's takes at 5 o'clock to kick off hour number 2. Talking college football in the first segment, little NFL in the final segment, and then we will recap with a little local that we'll start with as well. Hopefully you guys are out there having a great day. How about that weather, man? Ain't nothing you can complain about right now. Maybe for certain
a little bit of wind, maybe.
I was about to say for certain jobs out there, maybe the wind makes it a little bit more difficult, but I was just out there 20 minutes ago or so, just like, can we just do the show outside? Man, I know we did it a few times out there at Dave & Buster's, and then we got into the summer. I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna work, man. Not outside. It was the hardest part wasn't just being outside. Being outside, it's like, okay, whatever, we'll get through it. But every time that we would be set up in a certain position, then the sun would start moving, and it would affect our equipment. So then it would start getting the hot spot, and then once the hot spot starts getting affected, then all of a sudden you're kind of dropping in and dropping out, and then you're getting texts like, hey, you guys aren't on the air. And I'm like, man, I can't tell you anything. I'm out here at Dave & Buster's right now. The only thing I know is that we're going to talk for 2 hours. If it goes off the air, there's nothing I can do about it at that point in time. It's a lot. We can do a lot more when we're here at the station. But again, 850-215-6290 is the number to call or text today. I don't know if they got into it yesterday, but I did get a text from Coach Thomas yesterday, and the first national polls came out for baseball and softball for Gulf Coast State College. Baseball is number 1 overall. Softball comes in at number 8, and women's basketball is back up to number 2. Baseball is hosting right now actively Wallace over there at Gulf Coast State College. And then for softball, we're going to have a doubleheader Thursday. They'll be taking on Snead State. The first game starts at 2 p.m. and the second game 4 p.m. Basketball is off today, but they are traveling to Tallahassee Wednesday. The women will start at 4:30 and the men start at 6:30 p.m. And don't forget about Arnold. They are headed to DeLand. Game time is 6 Central. They're going to be taking on Pembroke Pines Charter Academy. And you can watch that on the NFHS network. It is $13.99 a month. So if you were to get that for today and they win today, then they would play Friday, and you could pretty much cancel it after that. I mean, or you could keep it $13.99 a month. I mean, how do we feel about that? I mean, I would if I had a kid playing, $13.99 is nothing to watch my kid play, especially if I've got to work a lot, or you get to watch all the road games and stuff. But how do you guys feel about it? I'm trying to get a hot.
If it's for my kid, I'd spend it, just so I can see it. And if I was, affiliated or doing something with those kinds of kids, it might be kind of cool to check out. I mean, if you're in those kind of sports too, you might just want to have it. But for that kind of money that you're paying for, typically if that's included with something you already have, then you're probably more prone to watch it.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I think that's the issue. Is if my sibling, or if I had kids and you had multiple siblings, so you couldn't always take the whole family to all the games. Obviously it's a steal to watch your kid, but if it was part of a package, maybe with $13.99 a month just for that, you'd have to be pretty committed to high school. I guess is it just high school baseball?
I think it's just Florida. I think it's just Florida high school.
Any high school sport though for Florida.
From the little, I didn't do any research, but I checked out the app today. Checked out the website. Really be into high
school sports to pay $15. I mean,
well, someone donate $15 a month to me so I can watch more of these games.
40 cents a day.
40 cents a day. There we go. All right,
let's put it like that,
Well, I'm just saying, so you got to think about that. What else you're paying for a day, your cell phone, your car payment, your this, your that, and then add that on top of it. Some people,
Hey, let's turn your mic up a little bit. I can't hear you very much on this side.
Well, I wasn't talking that loud either. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. I just couldn't hear what you were saying. But then you look at it on the opposite side of that. The flip side of that is what if you had to pay per game? They wouldn't charge you anything under $5 at that point.
Yeah, that's fair.
So you can look at it that way. There's and 13.
How much does it cost to go to a game? I mean, $10 probably.
Let's see. I know for the Gulf Coast games they're $5. Okay. Coach Manley hooked me up with a season pass for Bay, so I haven't paid there.
I guess
it's around $8.
You watch three games, you're breaking even at that point.
Yeah.
So
there you go. I mean, I think that it's a great deal. I wish that they would give you a package for all year long, and then I wish that this could be included in some sort of streaming package, like they have that sports package that's coming out. How cool would that be for high school athletics to be on there? Not just the ones that's on ESPN Plus, the big time games, but all of these games. Impossible, but sounds cool.
You could have extended family members watching you and stuff like that, making it easier instead of travel and whatnot nowadays.
Now, the question is, are they like Netflix, where it's locked down, you know what I mean? Or is it one of those ones where you pay your $13.99 and then you can, share with your brothers and sisters and family members and stuff? So for those of you who don't want to pay $13.99 a month, though, you can No, you're not going to make it if you drive to DeLand right now. You just won't make that game. But you can go to one of our former sponsors, Dave & Buster's, shouting them out because they're doing a good thing here for the kids. And I think they're taking, I want to say I don't want to say the wrong number, so I'm going to just give you a gauge here. If anywhere from 10 to 25%, they're going to be taking that not off of your bill. You ain't saving no money, but Dave & Buster's will take 10% or 25%, anywhere in that, somewhere in that range. And that will go to Arnold Athletics. So they're giving you an opportunity to go out there and watch the game tonight. Big shout out to Dave & Buster's for that. But that game starts tonight at 6 p.m. Pembroke Pines Charter Academy taking on Arnold. That's going to be a big one for Arnold. And if they win, then the championship game is on Friday.
They're going to have the game at Dave & Buster's?
Yeah, it's broadcasting. Yeah, cool. It is going to be streaming there at Dave & Buster's. So if y'all want to watch it and you don't want to spend $13.99 to watch it on the NFHS network, which the NFHS network should be paying us to promote.
You can spend the $13.99 on some drinks and wings.
There you go, my man. And you know Dave & Buster's is going to have some deals to help you out there. The Gulf Coast baseball team, again, we just mentioned they opened up the regular season at number 1 in the country for the first time since 2010. They are 17-1, off to their best start in over a decade, rolling through the first month of the season. They've got a run differential of plus 98.
That sounds like a lot. I'm not a baseball guy, but that sounds like a lot.
That's a lot, bro. That's a lot. That's like Texas. What was it? Texas Tech, I believe, taking down Texas Southern 32-5.
I mean,
it's like a whole bunch of
scoring 100 runs in 20 games is probably, or a little bit under 20 games is not bad in general. So you're talking about winning by more than almost.
Yeah,
runs like that's
because if you're looking at it like that, then you're averaging about 5 runs per game, and I think many coaches would be fine with an average of.
A lot of pitchers would like to have 5-run support, like in a game.
Come on, man, that is so true.
Are they outscoring Iowa's football right now? Is that where they're at?
Hey, that's bad, man. That's
a good one, Tyler.
Oh, well, I wonder how that's going to look for them next year. Have you done any digging into Iowa, or we've been focused on Nebraska's dunk contest and how they'll be looking?
I can't say I've ever put a whole lot of effort into scouting Iowa's football team as a whole, but they won't quite be the same butt of the joke this year. I can't remember who they hired. I'll have to look it up here.
I think they double their point total per average per game. Just like
so they're going to be averaging like
10.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like instead of averaging like on offense, very little points and stuff.
I think they were averaging like 17 points. No, they were close to the number set at the beginning of the season, but he didn't even make it all the way through the season before they were like, yeah, you had an opportunity, but it's not going to work out. I wonder how tough that was for his dad to let him go.
Should have been done a long time ago. He should have already been prepared. It'd be like preparing for a loved one that's like, gonna die soon, or something like that. That's like in hospice. I mean, like when it happens, it's not a surprise, So like this should have already been like, you should have seen it coming.
Oh man, all right, yeah, that was not where I was expecting that analogy to go. But
I'm just saying, like when you lose a job, you get fired,
There we go. We could dive into that analogy. Like you saw the writing on the wall, lose your job is not as bad when you, but yeah. I mean, that's still a
silver lining, yo.
And ladies and gentlemen who's been listening to this radio station now for 3 or 4 years, I don't think that was surprising at all. Like to hear Caveman Rick come with an analogy that is a little
on the
dark
side.
there. Yeah. Gulf Coast Athletic Director Mike Candler said that the last 2 times the program reached number 1 in the NJCAA polls was 2010 and then 4 years before that in 2006. So we'll see what the Gulf Coast Commodores can do. I got to get to a home game, man. If anyone is around Gulf Coast right now, stop by, get me a size 7 hat, and I'll pay you for it when you get here. I don't think this will actually happen. I don't think anyone will actually go and do this. But if so, if the hats, it needs to be under $30. I'm not going to spend over $30 for that. But if taxes included, let's say it's $29.99, and then yeah, man, I really want a Gulf Coast hat, and I don't want to have to continue to wait for the next home game.
What size?
7.
You got some 7, yeah.
Size 7 hat. If it's flex fit, don't even bother with it, man. I got a funky size head, so it's like with flex fit for real. Like I've got some hats that are 7 1/8, and they're all right, but 7 is like, all right, that is the number. And then when it comes to flex fit, if I've got small, medium, even then, small, medium is like, I need like extra small, and good luck finding those things, man. And then you go to
shop in a kids section.
At least I don't feel so bad when it's, at hats, because it's not like it's got kids, man. It's just, they jumble them all together there. Congratulations to Gulf Coast, though, and the baseball team. And again, the Thursday doubleheader for softball. The women start at, the ladies play at 2 and 4 o'clock against Snead State. Ponce de Leon girls basketball team looking for redemption this week. They're chasing their third class 1A state championship in 4 years. They lost by 5 points to the eventual 2023 state champions, Hawthorne, in the state semifinals. The Lady Pirates are going to be facing Panhandle will be facing Graceville in the Class 1A state semifinal in Lakeland. That'll be this Friday. We are streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. You can like and share the Facebook feed, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us over there on Twitter. Calling or texting at 850-215-6290. Got a few baseball scores from last night. Bay takes down Malone 16-0. Cottondale over Graceville 20-1. Arnold over Rickards 12-2. Walton falls to South Walton 8-1, and Franklin County gets the better of Weewaw 11-5. Tonight, Walton will be hosting Destin at 6 p.m. Bozeman hosting Cottondale at 6 p.m. That one's going to be a heck of a game. Cottondale 2-0 early in the season. Bozeman 3-0. That game, Bozeman hosting 6 p.m. Cairo is traveling to Port St. Joe tonight. They will start at 6 p.m. Arnold is on the road as well. They're taking on Holmes County. That game starts at 6. Chipley, they are traveling to Snead tonight. That game starts at 6 p.m. Vernon on the road to Laurel Hill at 6 p.m. And then Mariana, they head to North Bay Haven. That game starts tonight at 6 p.m. And then in Panama City High School softball, Bluntstown, they beat Rutherford last night 18-3. Childs over Port St. Joe 13-3, and Weewaw beats FSU High School 9-8. Tonight, Bay 2-1. They're traveling to Gadsden County. That game started at 4 p.m. FAMU DRS traveling to Bluntstown. That game starts tonight at 5 p.m. Vernon has a date with Destin in Destin. That game starts at 6 p.m. Big one for the county here in Bay County. Arnold 1-0. Mosley 0-2. Mosley hosting Arnold tonight at 6 p.m. Franklin County is 1-1. They are traveling to Weewaw, who's 2-2. That game starts at 6 p.m. tonight. Another big one for Bozeman on the softball side of things. They've got 2-0 North Bay Haven coming to Bozeman tonight at 7 p.m. And then Cottondale is traveling to Chipley, and that game starts tonight at 7 p.m. A little bit of exciting news, as we're going to have Old School joining us tomorrow at 4:20. Not going to have Adam with us tomorrow, so I'm going to try to make it a weekly thing, having Old School with us on Wednesdays at 4:20. And we do have Tyler with us here Tuesdays, and at 5 o'clock we get Tyler's take. So today we're going to be diving into some college football. We've got some odds for the college football playoff. They're already talking about expansion in the college football playoff. Like, haven't even played one single game in the 12-team playoff, and it's already like, hey, 14, 16. The NCAA doesn't know what to do with itself, because they got shut down with the NIL stuff versus Tennessee, and it's like, you know what, we're going crazy, even though I don't think the NCAA had anything to do with that as much as the committee did.
No, not really. NCAA was already kind of out of major college football, but there was a group of our Power 4 now football coach that said the NCAA is dead, essentially, at this point. Like, when it comes to college football, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, like how they regulate every other, because they've always regulated every other sport more so than major college football, because they even, like, D2, FCS, all that kind of stuff is all NCAA.
Yeah.
But not major college football. So it's going to be weird to see that, because it's got to be a weird relationship at a certain point. Like, we're taking your major moneymaker away, and then y'all can have the rest of it, is essentially what they're doing to the NCAA.
Yeah, I mean, I think I wonder if that ends up hurting other sports, though, because like you said, it's really just college football in and of itself, like Division I college football, and you could even divide those lines even more so into the Power 5 schools. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because do we revert back in our conferences? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, does the Pac-12 teams who are headed to the Big 12, do they say, all right, only in football, which I think would be great, especially for those softball athletes, for those baseball athletes. I mean, they've spent, let's say that this is their third year, they've spent or next year will be their third or fourth year, their senior year, they've spent their whole entire collegiate career like creating these rivalries with other players. And of course the transfer portal is going to have, some say so and all of that, but they've created these rivalries and they've gotten used to playing in certain stadiums and stuff, and now it's all for naught. So I hope that if this is what ends up happening, if the NCAA or if college football breaks off and becomes kind of its own entity, but then how does the money, what happens with the money then? Because now those schools cannot pay for all of the athletics that are going on without football being the head of things.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. I mean, I think eventually we end up seeing kind of like what we see with NFL. Like, there's going to be the NFC and the AFC. It's called the Big Ten and the SEC just for now. And then you'll see, like, the Big Ten West, which will be USC, Cal, UCLA. Like, it's going to eventually probably revert back to a lot of the same things. It's just going to be called the Big Ten West as opposed to the Pac-12.
Better than Legends and Leaders or whatever it was. Like, how do you even do that as a conference? What smart guy had the idea? You know what? We're better than East and West and North and South and all of that. We're going to go with Leaders and Legends, and you leaders really ain't going to be leading nothing, but it's all about the legends over here.
But I mean, then you look at how disproportionately powered they were, at least in football.
Yeah.
And like, who came up with these ideas? Like, the best team in the other division was Iowa or Wisconsin, which, no disrespect to those schools, but then you have Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State all vying for one spot.
Right.
Who thought that was a good idea when it came to football?
I'm
Iowa and Wisconsin fans, maybe, because they got a chance to play for it. Because, I mean, would anybody but maybe the top three schools, I mean, those top four schools really have had a great chance of playing for the title most of the other years? Like, yeah, the names were dumb, but the divisions were even worse.
Yeah.
Somebody was getting paid along the way to make that decision.
Well, absolutely. Someone was getting paid along the way, man. Paid to just do whatever it is that you want. Barrett says, happy Tuesday, one day closer to FSU leaving the ACC. Let's go. Do you think that could be one of those situations that happens maybe even before the season? I think it's going to be a long, drawn-out process, but you never know. I mean, things happen.
I mean, it's good. The problem with Florida State and Clemson is they're probably, attractive to the Big Ten or the SEC for different reasons, but are any of how attractive are the rest of the schools?
Yeah.
Because if they have enough schools willing to leave with them, they can kind of disband the ACC and a lot of the buyout goes away. But I mean, is Boston College super attractive? Is NC State? How attractive are these? Is Georgia Tech? Like, how attractive are these other schools? So, like, why would they give Florida State and Clemson that out of not having to pay them that money that they would be able to divvy up? That's where it's going to, can they get the votes, essentially? And I just don't know if there's enough teams in the ACC that are attractive enough to warrant it.
Yeah, why would they do them any favors? FSU's already been holding up the playoff, because of last year and the complaints and everything. So why would anybody want to help them out?
FSU's holding up the playoff?
Well, they were like last year, like they were complaining that they were one of the only schools, complaining about the playoff and stuff over a season ago.
Well, the ACC was one of the reasons why we didn't have an expanded playoff before last year.
Yeah.
Ironically, came back to bite Florida State in the butt.
Yeah.
But how attractive are the schools like Duke? Duke's great in basketball. They're decent some years in football, but like, is the Big Ten going to really want them? Is the SEC going to really want Duke?
I think Big Ten would like Duke for basketball purposes.
Maybe, but it's so football driven,
or just for the brand name.
Yeah, and at that
point, is Kansas really
too.
that? I mean, is Kansas as attractive as Duke? Because they're probably pretty similar between basketball and football.
And both of those two teams in the last 2 years, their football squads have become a little bit more. And I don't think noteworthy, but I don't think like Elko's gone out of Duke, so that's pretty much out of the question now.
They got Al Golden this year.
There you go. Big question mark for Duke going in this year, and then we'll see with Kansas how they do moving forward. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Please join us Monday, March 4th, 5:30 to 9 p.m. It's going to be a throwback to Los Antojitos at Ferrucci Ristorante. So if you liked Los Antojitos the way that it used to be, man, this is a great opportunity to go support the Bay High sailing team. They're going to have some of their favorite menu items. That's going to have queso, ceviche, shrimp tacos, carne asada, tacos, and their famous margaritas. There's also going to be live entertainment and a raffle that benefits the Bay High Sailing Team and the Bay Youth Sailing Association. If you'd like to purchase sponsorships, you can email them at bayhighsailing@gmail.com. But Monday, March 4th, 5:30 to 9 at Ferrucci Ristorante for a throwback to Los Antojitos. We're going to take a quick time out, and then we're going to talk some weddings with Max Delight. And we'll be right back. Keep it locked into 104.3.
Take ESPN Northwest Florida with you everywhere you go.
Anytime, anyplace, anywhere.
The sports talk and live play-by-play doesn't have to end when you get out of the car. The ESPN Northwest Florida app streams your favorite sports talk hosts and the biggest games in ultra-high fidelity.
This is of utmost importance in travel.
Take the sports talk monster with you anywhere you go. Available for Android and iPhone.
Use it anywhere or any place. Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Tuesday's weather forecast. Mostly sunny the rest of the day with temps near 70 and a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Some clouds tonight, a moderate breeze out of the south and a temperature of 63. About the same tomorrow around 70 with mostly clouds and a wind out of the south-southwest at 13 miles per hour. Quite warm with a high around 65 and mostly cloudy Thursday. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
It's time for a new kitchen from Kitchen Designs. Kitchen Designs in Panama City Beach and Santa Rosa Beach offers full service cabinets, countertops, and flooring. Cash and carry cabinets available the next day. Kitchen Designs has been family owned and operated for over 20 years. Ask for your free cutting board with any purchase through March 10th. Call Kitchen Designs 850-775-4150 or stop by their showroom 7934 Front Beach Road and on Lynn Drive in Santa Rosa Beach.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
The next evolution in sports talk radio. It's the Afternoon Underdogs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Weekdays from 4 till 6. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the doghouse. You guys are riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Tyler Bishop and Caveman Rick. And now on the phone line with us, just married this past Saturday. Delighted to have with us on the phone, Max Delighten. Max, how's it going, my lad?
Hey, Dave. How are you doing, man? It was great to see you at the wedding, and I appreciated the respect wearing the Cubs hat at the wedding.
I did, man.
I think you're the reason we got Cody Bellinger, man.
What's that?
You're the reason that we got Cody Bellinger.
Bro, do you know what's so crazy? You remember how I texted you Saturday afternoon and was like, I'm not really sure what to like get as a wedding present, you know, so, and then you're like, don't even worry about that. Your presence is enough. I was thinking about replying back facetiously, well, you guys will get Cody Bellinger and that'll be my present to you. And then like 12 hours later, I'm looking at a notification, Bellinger to the Cubs, man. I bet that was I bet you were stoked about that. But before we dive into that, what was your, I got to ask you, we'll put you on the spot here. I think your brother and your sister had, I mean, all of the speeches that I heard at the wedding were phenomenal, but whose did you enjoy more out of your brothers and your sisters? And maybe they'll come back and listen to this and give you some more, they give you a hard time about it.
No, it was pretty even. I've heard compliments on both. They're both pretty funny, and they set the bar pretty high, especially since I'll probably have to do my brother's one day. I thought it was pretty funny and pretty well scripted, and I'm still excited to see my little brother's bloopers that he said he deleted out due to censoring.
Man, I loved it, though. They did a really good job just kind of capturing it all. And then also, man, oh, dude, your father-in-law's got some killer dance moves, don't he?
I know. I wish I had danced before him. The Euros, man, they got you on dancing.
All right, and then the last thing we'll do pertaining to your wedding, since everyone knows, Coach Jeremy Pridgeon, Brother Jeremy Pridgeon, Pastor Jeremy Pridgeon did your wedding for you. So, wait, what would you grade his performance on a 1 to 10 scale?
Oh, 10 out of 10 with the win, too, and not having he had a mic for the videographer, but people said they could hear him, which is awesome, and I appreciate him doing that. I know you couldn't really hear Vicky and me, but he adjusted to adversity, and he was great. He's just a great person all around, great asset to this community, and I think he is a great asset to have as a Tide fan, too.
Yeah,
very rational Tide fan.
He is a very rational Tide fan. And, yeah, I was actually sitting in the very back row and could hear him. I was wondering, too, when I first sat down, like, man, this wind is starting to pick up a little bit. It's kicking around. I'm wondering how it's going to, how I would be able to hear him. And, yeah, he was belting it out there. So congratulations to you and Vicky Delight. And, man, that was a very great wedding, and the food was amazing. But we'll dive into Belly. What was your reaction after you had a little time to think about Bellinger becoming a Cub?
Man, I don't think anyone anticipated that deal, and I think that's the best thing about it. Everyone was saying it was a no-brainer, and I'm glad no one wanted to step up and pay him. Too bad there's multiple opt-outs, but 3 years, $80 million. I think if you're the Cubs and the Cubs fan, you got to be very happy with that. Bellinger has had his mountains and valleys in his career, but at this point, I think that's a great deal and a great gamble. It put us into first place projected amongst the very feeble NL Central teams. I think we're like plus 180 on DraftKings now, and the Cardinals are plus 185. But I think it's a great asset. It's going to be good, and hopefully Morel can play third base or someone. We have a pretty unique roster makeup now. We've got a lot of role players in almost every position on the field. So we'll see. I'm excited. I think Amanga is going to be a lot better than people anticipate. Apparently, from what the nerds are saying, that he's exceeded some people's expectations. So we'll see. The bullpen's actually pretty solid, too. And, we have to get past the Reds, who are and it's not really a threat still. Their pitching's a huge question mark, and the Cardinals are a winning organization, so you got to respect them. But speaking of the Cardinals, do you see they just signed Brandon Crawford?
Yeah.
Too?
What are they, 35 plus at shortstop and second?
Yeah, man. Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson, Sonny Gray, Matt Carpenter, and now Brandon Crawford. That would be a great offseason in 2014.
Yeah, I saw that, man. Who knows? Brandon Crawford, I think, is kind of on the back end, especially at a position like that where you still have to have a lot of athleticism to make all of the plays there. So we'll see. I'm not going to be very high on the Cardinals this year because I had them winning the Central last year. That did not work out. What's the number? What's the magic number you think to win, as far as a record goes, to win the NL Central this year?
This year, probably, I would say 90. I think 90, you'll get it done.
Dude, that's the number exactly that I was thinking. And then what about the bottom dwellers? I'm more than likely going to be the Pittsburgh Pirates, who, last I checked, were throttling and did end up beating the Atlanta Braves today 13-4. But that's not to overshadow Chris Sale's start with a 2 innings pitched and 4 strikeouts, no hits, no walks, none of the bad stuff, all of the good stuff. But again, it's just spring training. What you got?
Yeah, but that's good for Sale, too, for his confidence. And he said, It's cool to me in sports, especially as something like baseball, where it's so systematic and just regimented, that when guys like Kelenic or Sale come over to the Braves, they've both just been without dissing the Red Sox, who have also had a winning history, obviously, and the Mariners, who haven't been as fortunate. Just how how much high praise they have for the Braves and how they run their operation. Like, Kelenic was like, no bad feelings to the Mariners, but, like, this is amazing. Like, what's going on here? And, like, how they handle everything. It's kind of cool, and it goes to show you got to, you know, practice into place what you want to do in the postseason race. So it's cool to see these guys say that, and I think Chris Sale, God willing, will be healthy this year, which would be awesome. He's such a talent when he is. Seems like he hasn't been healthy since he cut up those jerseys in the White Sox locker room, but we'll see.
What do you make of the Dodgers trading away Manuel Margot and then turning the corner and adding a guy that they seem to let go of every offseason and bring back at some point in time during the season in Kiki Hernandez?
He just can't get away from him. I don't know. The Dodgers are so, like, stupidly deep that they can do whatever and be fine. I'm pretty envious of them. You see Ohtani went yard in his third at-bat with them already?
Yep.
And that dude just got Tommy John. It's not fair, man. I'm going to be honest. It's not fair.
It's not, man, and it was a 2-run shot as well. What's he looking at? 50 at bats, so he's kind of, you know.
I predicted 9 runs.
Yeah, you're 9 home runs. I think I had 6. Did you make a prediction on that, Max?
I didn't. I missed that.
Well, he's only 1 home run in. 3, maybe 4 at bats. I don't know how many at bats he got today. But how many home runs? Let's say that he's going to get 50 at bats. But just in total of spring training, how many home runs do you think Ohtani will smash this year?
50 at bats. That's tough. I'll go with 6, including today's one.
All right, I like that. How about Wyatt Langford? What are you hearing about him, the Rangers rookie?
Oh, Wyatt Langford's a dog, dude. He is going to be an instant impact. He's top 3 in a lot of, if you do, I forget, Dave, are you in any dynasty leagues too?
No, I haven't done a dynasty league. Well, actually, I don't think that it's dynasty, but we keep as many players as... Oh, I saw that coming from a mile away. A mic just fell down. And that's where the pause came from. I was just watching it. I was going to jump up and try to grab it, but at that point in time, I was just going to make more mics fall down at that point. What were we talking about? Dynasty League. So I think that our keeper, we can keep as many players as we want, but what ends up happening is then the top half of the league just kind of are the ones who are participating, and the bottom half of the league is just like, it kind of makes it non-competitive or less competitive.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Langford he's already 22. His MLB prime, I mean, could be as early as this year. He's going to fill up all the offensive categories, and he's a perennial, like, first-round pick in a lot of fantasy leagues right now. And he is in dynasty leagues in the first-year player draft. He's going 1 in almost everyone. The Rangers are obviously competitive already, so I think they're going to give him the green light, and he would be my pick to win Rookie of the Year in the AL, which isn't a hot take by any means. He just is a 5-tool talent. His bat is incredible. I'm really excited to see him.
What about the 17-year-old for the Padres? What's his name? Salas?
Who?
Salas for the Padres. He had a double yesterday. I believe his first
double. Are you talking about Ethan Salas?
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I know he reached Double-A last year. It's really hard to gauge those 17, 18-year-olds as far as their slash line. Mm-hmm. I know people don't love slash lines, but what's something that people need to gauge is batting average and OBP, especially batting average, matters in the minors. And the pros, not as much. Old heads will argue it does. Look at Kyle Schwarber's like 53 homer year. It does not matter. He still got on base more than the league average, and had 120 OPS plus. But he only played 9 games or 10 games in Double-A, if I remember correctly. In Single-A, he was mashing, and then it's hard to gauge because he didn't really get to play above Single-A. But as a 17-year-old, you can't look past the fact that he was just mashing the ball. It's like, because power comes with age too, especially when you're switching to a wood bat, which I know. In Salas' case, I think he's always used a wood bat, but
oh wow,
it'll be interesting to see. I'm excited to see when he'll make it up. I don't exactly know. If I to guess, it wouldn't be until late 2025. But it's always cool when you see guys of that age. It's just it's just so impressive. You can't just help but look back and admire it, you know?
That's what I was thinking when I was watching some of his tape today. I was just like, 17 years old, man. This doesn't even make sense how good the athletes are. What do you think is is contributing to that in baseball? It seems like these guys are younger and younger each and every year and getting better and better and better.
Dude, that's a great question. 'Cause I mean, of the guys that are coming up this year, like, you got Jackson Churio for the Brewers, who's 19. I don't know what, something in the drinking water beats me, man. I don't know where
Barry Bonds has started a training program. I think that's what it is.
Probably. I mean, Roman Anthony will be up. Like, there's a lot of top 10 guys who are only 19. Walker Jenkins has a chance to make it this year. He's only in single A.
Your fundamentals maybe got something to do with that, you think? Like, people are paying more attention to the fundamentals and, like, you know, instead of just, you know, like, and, like, being, like, a multi-tool player instead of just, like, focusing on one attribute and that's it.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point, actually. It's just crazy to me. It makes us all feel so much older, right? Like, we're all here sitting around talking about these guys, and they're not even above high school graduation age or freshman year of college, and they're about to be in the bigs.
I mean, because even with Bryce Harper, like, you heard about him in times of high school. I don't want to say maybe when he was 13, maybe even before that, but I remember him being on Sports Illustrated and all of that stuff. But it just, I don't think that we were talking about him as heavily at 17 and 18 until he finally made it to the league. And I think, there was a little bit of struggle for him in the beginning, but then since then, I mean, the dude, he's just, I hate to say this as a Braves fan.
Probably helps that too a lot.
That helps a lot too, but that can also break a player. As far as just too much pressure being put on them. I mean, not saying that social media has had any effect on what's going on in college basketball right now with Bronny James, because you got to go to the heart situation at the beginning of the year. But what do you think of LeBron getting on Twitter, Max, and posting and then deleting, saying, can y'all please just let the kid be a kid and enjoy college basketball? I mean, you know, like, LeBron's got to know better. Like, if he's your kid.
Maybe don't name your kid Bronny James Jr. then.
There you
it's like the same thing as, again, like, I know we've had this talk where it's like LeBron has not been treated normal in his life since he was like 15, so he's so socially inept. But, like, when he was saying that stuff like, oh, I'm 50-50 on if I want to have a retirement tour, like, I'm pretty sure we all know what 50% that's going to fall on, buddy.
We had a dedication to you taking your talents to South Beach. I can only imagine what a final year of LeBron is going to be like.
Yeah, no one loves LeBron more than LeBron. But I mean, respect the talent. He deserves it. He's going to hit 40,000 points in like a week and a half. But on that Bryce Harper thing too, I think he has to be one of the best, like, lived up to their hype and then some guys ever. Like, he came into the league at 19. Way before the minors was even what it is now. Like, I mean, I know it's only 12 years ago, but the minor league system has improved immensely in baseball over the past 5 to 10 years, which is great, especially with the talent and how they handle it and how they test rules out. But I feel like he's going to be, like, a historically underrated player, since he was a little overrated at first and people had these, you know, absurd expectations for him. But he's obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he is just an absolutely ridiculous talent for the game of baseball. I don't think, right? Like, being on the cover of Sports Illustrated when you're 15 or 16, and then living up to that, like, and not being like a Sebastian Telfair or
Tiger and Gretzky. Those are probably the other two that come to mind that lived up to their expectations.
Who?
Tiger Woods and Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, and because I feel like those players normally flame out, or it's like, not what you think. I remember seeing, like, when he was like 18 or 17, and he ended up sucking on the tour. Camilo Viegas, you remember him? Like, guys like that. And then
golfer,
Bryce
right?
Harper. What?
Camilo Viegas. Yeah.
And then, like, Bryce Harper, like, not to give him more credit, but, like, he has been everything and then some. I think he is just an absolute freak talent at baseball.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Go ahead.
Sorry, speaking of guys, too, who are studs, and I think, like, have gotten, like, bad knock, is Soto. I know Soto's been mashing in spring training. It doesn't mean much. And people were like, oh, he is super lame, walked merchant at the Padres. Like, last year, he still hit 35 bombs, 110 RBI, 410 OBP, 158 OPS plus, which is actually above his career. I think don't buy too much into the Yankees yet, but that's going to be a problem with him and Aaron Judge in the same lineup. And I don't know if you saw Stanton, but Stanton looks like, those egg things you used to be able to stack little people into? It looks like a little person jumped out of him because he's half the size now.
Yeah, what are they? Babushka dolls or something like that.
Babushka dolls, yeah.
Yeah, the nesting dolls from Russia.
Yeah, I got some. Dude, like over there in Russia, they got them at, well, I don't know about now, but in Moscow, like they had this big market, and I got Alabama ones. I don't have them anymore. I lost them somehow, but they had Alabama ones. They had
Russia.
Tennessee Titans. Yeah.
Wow.
For real, like they got all kind of American stuff over there. In fact, one day we had breakfast at this, it was a 24/7 American diner.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yep. So, all right, Max. Well, you got one more segment. Or you got to ride out.
I got to ride out, unfortunately, but I'll be back on next Tuesday. I appreciate you guys having me. It was nice going on that baseball tangent.
Absolutely, man.
And to answer your question, you texted me before that we were going to address. Yes, the U.S. women's team is that golden era is over for them.
The golden era is
over.
over.
Losing in the CONCACAF thing to Mexico.
Okay, so that wasn't the World Cup.
No, that's the cup between North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. That's where the CONCACAF comes from. And it's like a regional tournament. You should win. It's like your conference tournament, and there's no reason they shouldn't win that. And especially like Mexico. Mexico's not good at women's soccer. They're not good at men's soccer anymore. So
I love it when you're just throwing out takes like bash them, but you're keeping it real though. No, keeping it real, man. And we got
you, but man, it's like for our lifetime, Mexico used to be like the Green Bay Packers were for me against the Bears, and now Mexico soccer, like even when we go to Azteca, which is one of the toughest places to play in the whole world because it's like Mile High Stadium on mega steroids, we still draw or win there. Like we haven't lost to Mexico in I don't know. There's kids like in kindergarten who haven't seen us lose to Mexico.
So the men are trending up, and the women are trending down, and we're still fighting for equal pay on that, huh?
Yeah, we are. No one respects revenue and viewership anymore.
I mean, I could care less either way that it goes, but that's what my first thought was. Man, they're in the. Again, I was wrong in this, but I was like, they're in the World Cup and no one's even talking about it. But the World Cup was last year, and I don't think we were talking about it then too much. I think the inside drive was a little bit, though. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. That was Max Delighten. Oh, hey, Max, you still on the line?
Yeah.
Tell him about Allegiant Lending, young lad.
Oh, thank you. 850-565-1160. Got a shout-out at the wedding. Come on. We'll help you with condo, lots, building, anything. We'll help you out. If you're a friend of Dave, you're a friend of mine. So we're happy to help you out. 850-565-1160. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that.
All right, man. Appreciate you as well and your family, man. It was great to be around them again.
It was great to have you.
Yes, sir. All right, we're going to ride to a break. When we get back, it's time to play a little traffic jam and trivia, which is actually a trivia question that is focused around those Chicago Bears. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're taking the inside drive.
Is it really ban court storming? Is it part of the game? Is it part of what happens when you have an upset? A big upset?
Well, they have to, there's got to be a buffer like they were talking. You got to allow a minute to let these, athletes get
Okay.
off. I mean,
good point. I get that. Yeah, let the
Join Ryan Mulvey.
Thank you very little.
Middays 11 to 1 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Tuesday's weather forecast. Mostly sunny the rest of the day with temps near 70 and a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Some clouds tonight, a moderate breeze out of the south and a temperature of 63. About the same tomorrow around 70 with mostly clouds and a wind out of the south-southwest at 13 miles per hour. Quite warm with a high around 65 and mostly cloudy Thursday. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey there, business owners. Do you feel lost in a sea of numbers, struggling to navigate your day-to-day accounting? At Lighthouse CPAs, they specialize in guiding businesses to make more money and keep more of what you make. From bookkeeping to tax planning, they've got you covered. Plus, with their user-friendly software, managing your finances has never been easier. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Call Lighthouse CPAs 850-785-5254.
Did you know that fees associated with real estate closings are virtually the same from one title company to the next? So what sets South Oak Title apart? Effective communication, customer service, expertise, and technology. If you're buying or selling real estate, refinancing a residential or commercial property, tell your realtor you want to close with South Oak Title. South Oak Title, with locations across the Southeast, including Panama City Beach, Inlet Beach, Destin, and Fort Walton Beach. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
He's so old, he buys his clothes at the same store he buys his groceries.
Are you wearing a grocery bag?
I talk sports in my underwear. I'm gonna wear nothing but a thong and a top hat.
Caveman Rick is part of the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
I did not know that Coach Manley was selling groceries these days, because I know where that shirt came from, Caveman Rick. Coach Manley keeps us all outfitted here at ESPN Northwest Florida with some great garments, man. There's no doubt about that. Hopefully you guys are still having a great Wednesday afternoon. I've got your chance to win $25 to not the, but that boot store and a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. We've got some ginger ale in there, zero sugar. In fact, opened up a 12-pack of Mountain Dew Code Red about a week and a half ago, and I think it's still got 11 sodas in there because I thought the box did not say no sugar on it. But then bust out the can and it's no sugar. I'm like, that's why I'm drinking this Mountain Dew, for the sugar.
It's just the artificial sweetener. Like the aftertaste, it's just not my thing.
Yeah, I can't handle that. I got to have it regular. That's it.
My whole life, I've always, and I think it sounds much better. It's like when people say aspartame, I'm like, oh, that sounds so lame. I've always called it aspartame. Aspartame. Michigan Eddie texted in a couple of times talking about the U.S. women's national team. He says karma for the USWNT, paying for their leaders' sins, past and present. Not entirely sure what. Oh, maybe. Oh, I think he's talking about old Rapinoe there. So.
And he was also mentioning earlier too when he called in about the Big Ten and how they get a lot of their money. It's all like through grants for medical stuff and all kinds of educational stuff, not so much athletics.
That's why I think Duke would fit in well with the Big Ten. I think you could take a few of these, like SMU. They need to be in the Big 12. Maybe we need to have like a D1 Ivy League, and not, this is not a knock on any of the Big Ten schools or anything, but you take your cows and like some of those Stanford and start like Vanderbilt. Welcome to the Ivy League of Division One. Right, exactly. Like you could take Duke over there, and I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that they could do, but we'll just deal with what it is that we got to deal with until we get to that point. And already talking about 14 to 16 teams being in the college football playoff. Like we went, we've just jumped up 8 teams. Like let's
see what it looks like.
Let me get 3 years.
Let's try it out and give it a spin around the block at least once or twice.
Just one little test run would be nice. Just give me one. And we'll see.
You're buying the car. You ain't even left the dealership. You're already trying to buy something different.
Or you're trying to trade it in. Yeah, something else, right?
One spin around no, not even a spin around the block. You're just
drive around the lot in the dealership. Like,
how much would you give me for this? I got my eye on that over there. Against which team did Walter Payton rush for 275 yards to set the single game record for rushing yards for the Bears franchise? Against which team, that's one of 31 teams, did Walter Payton rush for 275 yards to set the single game record for rushing yards for the Bears franchise? I'll let you guys get a guess, and I won't tell you if you're right or wrong.
Just because the division, they play them a lot, and they always suck. How about the Lions?
All right, that's a good guess.
Probably pretty good. I mean, I was kind of thinking like the Packers Packers just out of sheer number of attempts. But, I mean, there was no Jaguars. There was no Panthers. There was no Texans. So, that takes away 3 teams for you. So, there you go.
There you go.
You got like 28 options. So.
28 options, and then I'll go ahead and tell you guys they were both wrong, too. So then that's 5 options off the board there at that point in time. So 850-215-6290. If it's Professor Plum, I have a good idea that he is going to be winning, but I'm not sure who we're going to have on the line. We will get to on this day. After that, it's going to be Drew. Drew, you are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. What's going on?
Hey, just going home from work.
All right. Where's work at for you?
A place called Air Gas.
Nice, man. I think
right in Panama City.
Awesome,
I've
man.
had to deal with them before in my old endeavors, in my old job.
Well, Drew, you doing all right today?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, man. So tell me, which team did Walter Payton rush for 275 yards to set the single-game record for rushing yards for the Bears franchise?
I think it was the Minnesota Vikings.
You are right. That's correct. You're going to be getting $25 to Not The, but that boot store in a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. Drew, who's your NFL team?
Gosh, I really stick with the college teams.
All right, well, then let's just skip right over the NFL question. Who's your college football team?
Michigan Wolverines.
Michigan Wolverines. Awesome, man. What did it mean for you, that championship this year?
It was pretty awesome, that's for sure.
Yes.
Even with the scandal, it was awesome.
I mean, is that really I don't know. I just think that's a whole bunch of people who never played football, especially at that level, because I could say confidently I never played beyond the high school level. But, I don't remember us doing any type of cheating like that, but I wouldn't consider that necessarily cheating if everyone out there is doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so, you know how it is. The media likes to be right, but at the end of the day, like, if the players aren't out there saying stuff, oh, Tyler looks like he's got a take.
I've got an interesting, hypothetical, Michigan fans and all, as maybe a neutral fan, would the Auburn and Cam Newton scandal be a bigger deal to you for them winning a national championship than the Michigan Connor Stallion? Because, there's the whole thing that he got paid before being paid was...
An Alabama fan should never be talking about other players getting paid.
Oh, no, 100%. But that was the big thing. You remember, his dad got money.
Oh, no, I remember.
And so, what do you think is the bigger, which one's the bigger scandal, you think? Because I don't think Auburn fans care that they paid Cam Newton to win a national championship. Who cares? Right? The title's a title. But
can we just do this, though? Can we get Reggie Bush his Heisman back? You know what I mean? That's I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at on it, because if the Cam Newton stuff is provable, then...
and now the whole Johnny football stuff, he's come out and admitted
and
to
he's
it.
Talking about it, and it's like, look, these things happen, but did that affect what was actually taking place on the field? So I don't know. But I don't have one issue with either the Cam Newton thing or the Michigan thing, because at the end of the day, all right, so now that stuff comes out. Well, now other teams have a better understanding of what they should be preparing for with Michigan at that point in time. Michigan came out and did their jobs on the field. They did it without their head coach for 6 games last year. And what do you think about Sharon Moore taking over for Coach Harbaugh?
It's a pretty good move. I think they made the right choice.
All right. Well, Drew, thanks so much for giving us some of your time this afternoon. Hang on the line so Caveman Rick can grab some more information from you, okay?
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you. Man, March Madness just around the corner. What do we got? 2 weeks left here in the regular season. Then the SEC, not the SEC, all of the tournament, the conference tournaments will be taking place. And then we're going to be having our Bracket Buster Challenge. So I'm looking for a sponsor to help us out with some gifts and stuff. But this is, 3rd, 4th, maybe 5th year running this in a row. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have a sign-up link for you guys after Selection Saturday. But just go ahead and be getting, or Selection Sunday, which is going to be March 17th. So y'all be getting ready, start watching some of those college basketball teams, or don't actually, because it seems like
don't really matter.
Yeah, the less you know about college basketball as we get closer, or about these particular teams, the better. I mean, USF, they beat FAU a couple of weeks ago. Now they're in the top 25. First time in their existence that they're in the top 25. USF could be a team that makes a run. I'm really excited about this year. Alabama Alabama vying for the regular season championship in the SEC, but Tennessee is got something to say about that. Florida's been playing some great basketball. Auburn been playing some great basketball as well, especially when they are at the Homestead, and they've got a big one coming up tomorrow night. And you can listen to that game right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Coverage for that game is going to be starting at 6 o'clock because the tip is at 6 o'clock. It's Auburn and Tennessee. But tonight, after the Afternoon Underdogs, is going to be the Brooklyn Nets and the Orlando Magic, and that tip will be at 6 p.m. this evening. You watch.
Ben Simmons is going to play? I'm just joking because it's the Nets. And
odds are probably not, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Odds are probably not, but we can get a Ben Simmons update real quick. Do you ever catch any NBA games, Tyler?
I try to watch some of the playoffs and the finals.
Yeah,
the regular season. I'm not going to sit. If I catch a game on or whatever, I'll try to watch some of it. But I don't go out of my way to watch it. I guess kind of like I would like an NFL game.
Do you have a team? And no, Ben Simmons will not be surprised. He won't be playing. He has not suffered a new injury, but he's yet to gain clearance to play in back-to-back. So Schroeder's going to be going tonight instead of Ben Simmons. Do you have a team that you kind of keep up with till you get to the playoffs?
I mean, I kind of keep up with the Wolves a little bit because of Anthony Edwards.
Oh, yeah, man.
Being a dog. And he's just, his interviews are hilarious.
Yes.
He makes some of those just like highlight. He's not consistent, but he just makes some of those highlight plays that are fun to watch when he's playing well. So I'm not going to pretend to be a diehard Timberwolves fan or anything, but, I like to keep up with him a little bit.
There you go. Caveman Rick's got his Philadelphia 76ers. I've got the Indiana Pacers. I like how across the board for the Afternoon Underdogs, it's like
it was a random assortment.
Yeah, it's like you would think that we've all lived all across the country and we just pick up teams as we go. Yeah.
Well, some of us have. I lived in a few different places.
Yeah, but all of your teams are from the same exact place, though.
Yeah, but like I said, you got people that come around here, though. They got not the norm, not the same stuff.
Yeah, and that's what
got different stuff. It's great.
That's what I like about it, man. It definitely makes it a lot of fun. On this day, we'll try to breeze through this real quick. In 1874, baseball is first played in England at Lord's Cricket Ground. Crickets were heard there that evening. 1959, Boston Celtic Bob Cousy sets the NBA record with 28 assists. Celtics score 173 points against, at that time, the Minneapolis Lakers. In 1984, Carl Lewis jumps the world record indoor of 8.675 meters. 87, the NCAA cancels SMU's entire 1987 football schedule for gross violations of the NCAA rules regarding athletic corruption.
Pony Express, man. That's a great 30
Yeah, that is, man. They crushed those documentaries, man. And in 2007, Mark Messier's number 11 is retired by the Edmonton Oilers. You guys are riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. Tyler's Takes going up on a Tuesday coming up next. If you've got anything pertaining to college football that you'd like to hear Tyler, myself, or Caveman Rick talk about, or if you want to hop on the air and talk about it with us, give us a call or text 850-215-6290.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Dr. Chad Mitchell. And I said he's learning to be a better doctor. And they said he couldn't get any better than he is. I said, I agree with that. But it is true. You go to, hey, this is big time. This is big time. We're national now. We're national. We're not just college football. Did you pick up one little thing?
Oh, I picked up more than one.
Weekday mornings 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Tuesday's weather forecast. Mostly sunny the rest of the day with temps near 70 and a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Some clouds tonight, a moderate breeze out of the south and a temperature of 63. About the same tomorrow around 70 with mostly clouds and a wind out of the south-southwest at 13 miles per hour. Quite warm with a high around 65 and mostly cloudy Thursday. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey there, folks. Looking for a place that feels like home right in the heart of Panama City? Well, look no further than Charlie Corm's Place at their new location on 15th Street. Charlie Corm's is not just a place, it's an experience. Imagine cozy corners, friendly faces, and the aroma of delicious dishes that'll make your taste buds dance. From sunrise breakfast to late night bites, Charlie Corms on 15th Street has it all. Charlie Corms Place on 15th Street is now offering exclusive weekday lunch specials. Visit Charlie Corms Place on 15th Street. Look for the giant mural.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
In the jewelry business, there is no substitute for experience. David Adamson has over 46 years of experience, 32 of those in Lynn Haven. Designing and creating fine jewelry is more than a job for David, it's a joy. If you're looking for a spectacular jewelry design that says you, or perhaps you need your jewelry repaired, look no further than David Adamson Designer Jewelry. All work is done in-house and always to your complete satisfaction. Stop in today at David Adamson Designer Jewelry, 830 Ohio Avenue in Lynn Haven. They're on Facebook and at pcjeweler.com.
We don't sell the steak.
You can stir this all up.
We sell the sizzle. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
Very spicy.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You guys are riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. You are in the doghouse. I'm David Hayes, along with Tyler Bishop and Caveman Rick. You guys can call or text us at 850-215-6290. We're going to start this off with a little bit of a fun question to kick around the table. We'll be talking college football here, but this is kind of more along the lines with the NFL. Caveman Rick, I was telling Tyler there during the break, he should have compared the Michigan cheating scandal with something to do with the New England Patriots, and that would have gotten you a lot more heavily involved. What possible? What scandal or gate, if you will, when you're talking about the Patriots? I think you just got to refer to everything as a gate, Spygate, Deflategate, whatever it may be. Which one stands out to you the most as the most egregious?
The first, Spygate. I mean, like, the league knew what they were doing. The league basically came out and said, don't do this. Belichick just gave him, the number one sign with both of his hands to the league, the next season, and he gets caught, and they, try to play dumb about it. I mean, you're doing it against your arch rivals and against one of your ex-head coaches that knows what the hell you're doing, too, and then you're going to try to pull that. I mean, that's pretty smug. And then I've been watching the documentary, but I heard that Robert Kraft or somebody asked him, like, hey, what kind of percentage did that help you out? And he said 1%. Well, if it only give you 1% advantage, which I think is a load of crap, then why the hell you do it?
I'll tell you why. What's our goal every day? To be 1% better. That's exactly right.
Not if it's through those genes, though.
I was being facetious, but you remember, like...
And it was so damning what they did. The league destroyed the
evidence. What did they do?
Like the taping.
I know. What'd they do?
Taping people's signals and people's signs.
And one of the things, what they actually ended up getting in trouble for was for filming it on the opposite side of the field. So they should have been on one side of the field. So to me, it's like one of those things. And then I've read a lot of commentary, now whether they were paid or not, but from players who it was done against and things of that nature where I don't want to open up this can of worms because we're going to have a whole discussion on it one day. But from all of the, I can't say all because that's not true. From most of the comments that I read from players who were involved, not on the Patriot side, but on the offending side, was like, well, I don't know what advantage it really gave them. So, but this is definitely going to be a discussion. We can. I like this because Caveman is very steadfast. Steadfast, I think, is a very good way to put that, and not because I wouldn't even call it hate, because I think there's a lot of people in your corner.
Nah, I don't hate the Patriots and all that. I just think, like, if you guys were that good and you guys say you're that good, then it's like Barry Bonds. So why the hell did you have to do it?
Absolutely.
If you're that good, then you shouldn't, be doing it. So it lends some credence there that maybe you weren't all that good. Or not quite as good.
Yeah. Right State Chris with best of the weekend says Patrick Kane going back to Chicago, scoring the OT winner, and best of the weekend was Chicago. Also best of the weekend, he says, was Chicago fans honoring Kane and cheering for his game winner, which he got in overtime. And they were, that was really awesome of the Chicago Blackhawks fans in that situation. And good for Patrick Kane to be able to net the game winner in overtime. Speaking of game winner, winners. I don't know if we have one yet, but Ryan Mulvey is over there at the UA Middle School soccer game. It is their championship. They went to the half 1-1. Then they went to full-time 1-1. So they're going to penalty kicks they had a overtime. No one scores, and UA wins in extra PKs. What are extra PKs? So that means that must have meant
you went to PKs, and then it was tied after that.
If they do 3 or 5, they went through that first set. It was still tied, and they had to go through the set again, or however they do it.
Well, UA gets it done 5-4 in extra PKs. So congratulations to the University Academy, and I am 100% sure tomorrow on the Inside Drive, which runs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We will be hearing a lot more about that, so make sure that you're tuned in. The Coach James Hale Show also running from 7 in the morning to 9 a.m., and the guys do a great job. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so that means Coach Manley will be in the building with them. It is Bay High Wednesday. All right, let's go to, I lost my place. Hopefully I can find it here, Tyler. You're in an NFL game. You get one chance to complete a play. Which do you choose? The first play is gain 1 yard rushing against San Francisco's defensive line, and you get $10,000. The second play, your second option is throw and complete a go route to Tyreek Hill. Is there any defense on this?
I would imagine there'd have to be, at least somewhat, Is it Sauce Gardner? Is it some random third string guy is the bigger question.
Yeah. Catch it. The third play for $20,000, you could throw and complete a go route to Tyreek Hill. The third option, catch a pass against Sauce Gardner, and you'll get $50,000. The next two are just straight up impossible. The fourth option, block Micah Parsons, and you get $100,000. Or for a measly $1 million, you can break a tackle against Aaron Donald.
There's guys making a lot more than those money that can't do either of those things. So those are just completely off the table.
Yeah, which one do you think that you have the best opportunity?
I mean, depending on your O-line, the rush for 1 yard against San Francisco's defense line is the easiest. That's why it's less payout. But I think Tyreek Hill would do everything he could for you. Like if he knew it was kind of like a charity type situation, I think he'd do his best to help you out. And he may even give you that $20,000 whether you complete it or not. So I'd probably take the gamble on that one, just knowing Tyreek being a little quirky like that. But as long as you have a halfway defense off the line, 1 yard is doable. It's doable. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's doable.
All right. Caveman Rick?
Yeah, I'd probably have to go the same route, to be honest. I don't want to do any of them because I know I probably couldn't, and I'd probably get hurt trying to do them against, NFL-type players and whatnot. But, if you can do any of this stuff, too, anyways, you should be, either in the league or you should have played college ball or something like that.
And if Tyreek's really running to go, you're talking about having to chuck that bad boy 40, 50, 60 yards, in somewhat accurate. That's going to be tough.
Or you just throw it as soon as you snap it. It's like, hey, bro, you got to hit 40 yards on him. I don't even know how far I could throw it these days.
And it's going to take a lot longer to get there, too.
Yeah.
Than an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, they ain't going to be no
him out the dry.
Yeah.
He's going to be standing here waiting for it.
He's going to have to run back to the ball. It's like, man, you underthrew me. No, man, I threw that thing as hard as I could, though. I'm sorry about that.
You overran me, Tariq.
Now, here's the thing. With I want to look at the blocking Micah Parsons because there's no way I'm going to break a tackle there's no way I'm going to break a tackle against Aaron Donald, right? If he gets his hands on me, I'm going to need a casket at that point.
Yeah.
With Micah Parsons, is my goal just he doesn't make the tackle? Do I get the $100,000 if he doesn't make the tackle? And can I chop block? And do I want to chop block?
You might.
I don't know, man.
Say,
you may break a collarbone trying to chop block Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I was going to say you're going to do something that's going to end up costing you more than $100,000.
Yeah.
For your medical bills. So then you're actually in the hole when you get done. And you got to go through all the pain and anguish.
Okay. Will they let me line up in one of those big balls? You know what I'm talking about?
Like the giant inflatable?
Yeah, like the giant inflatable balls that you can I don't know exactly what it is that they use them for, kind of like a bumper cars, but with human beings instead of it being inside of big inflatable balls rather than inside of a bumper cart at that point in time. Maybe that could work out for me.
They had a show about 20 years ago on
Joe's versus Pros.
Yeah, Pros versus Joe's.
Yeah.
I think it was on Spike TV.
Yes.
Like the same channel had MXC back in the day.
That show was so good.
I know.
What, like, could you imagine how good it would be these days? I think just because, like, I think your average everyday people are a little bit more athletic as well, but still, it just goes to show you how big of a difference. Like, I would like to see different levels of it too. You know, like, give me your outdated pro, but then also give me guys who in certain sports didn't quite make it to the elite professional level, but still made it into your G League or your AAA or USFL, right? And then give me guys who only made it to college, and then give me the guy who thinks he's great at everything and put him in front of those. I mean, I think that they could really do something with that. Of all of the unoriginal things that people do these days when it comes to entertainment, like, copy that.
Yeah, do it during the off season now when there's not a lot going on, or like in the summertime when people are actually clamoring to watch something.
Yeah,
that might be something to get some eyes.
Yeah, summertime, that's the best time for baseball, man. Almost there. Well, we're here right now.
The best strategy would be to bribe Aaron Donald with $500,000. Be like, hey, let me break this tackle. You get $500K, I get $500K. That's the real play there.
That's a good play. I just have
he doesn't need $500,000 to make himself look bad.
I think
you made
his
him reputation's
reputation's
look like
worth more than that.
I think he would tell you yes, and then just like one hand throw you across the field.
Be like the Hulk in the Avengers where he's slinging the guy back and forth. Yeah, that would.
He's like, sorry, I was gonna help you out, but just like muscle memory, it just took over, man, and I killed you.
I think Aaron Donald could have to tackle all three of us, and only one of us break the tackle, and we still get the money.
It still wouldn't happen.
And it still wouldn't happen. What was it Miles used to always say? Like,
he had 7 on Cam Newton.
Yeah.
And Cam Newton was handling those 7 guys.
Oh, man, a little bit more came out about that story, too. And it looks like he was running his mouth prior to, it was after the game, but he was running his mouth to the TSP guys.
Cam Newton running his mouth? No, I don't believe that for 1 second whatsoever.
And then the guy comes up the stairs who's with TSP, and then Cam Newton kind of grabs him, because yesterday I was kind of sticking up for him a little bit. Brian had more so, and I was piggybacking off of him and just saying, yeah, I mean, it's kind of, like those guys giving him a hard time, but it turns out to be, well, two sides to every story. So we're more things are going to come out tomorrow.
There was
because
probably some heckling that started it by the fans and stuff, and then he probably just chirped back, and you know how that goes.
Well, it was actually started out in the parking lot, and they had played the day before, so the TSP guys got the better of the C1N team, which is Cam Newton is with the C1N team. And then when Cam pulled up in the parking lot, he was talking mess with a guy about betting. And why even say that kind of stuff? Why are you betting on something that you have? Like, I don't care if you're coaching or not. If you're not on the field, you have no. Like, and why are you betting on youth sports, Cam? Like, if it actually happening,
he doesn't have any laptops to sell. He's got to make revenue somehow, yo.
But anyways, his podcast will be dropping tomorrow night. So the other two guys from TSP, they gave their side of the story. Now we'll wait to hear Cam Newton, and we'll get a better. Eventually, I think these guys might just end up all on the same podcast and being able to hash it out, because they used to all coach together. And it's just a sad situation. And the guy who spoke to Fox News, can't remember his name, but he said, the worst part about it is this is supposed to all be about the kids, and because of our actions, we got in the way of that. So, he owned up to the mistakes in the whole process, and it is what it is. You don't want to see those things. You absolutely don't want to see those things, but it's not about how you fall. It's about what you do when you fall and how you get back up. So we'll see what holds, what we get out of that tomorrow when Cam Newton drops his latest podcast. What do you think of the Nebraska football players having a dunk contest at halftime of one of the Nebraska games? Like, is that something that you would want to see your Georgia Bulldogs do?
I mean, it's fun, and that's what. I mean, Nebraska needs the energy, right? They need people to, like. Would we be talking about Nebraska football right now if it wasn't for that? Probably not.
I would ask you, like, do you think Dylan Raiola is going to be the answer there?
Probably not today. Probably not. But I mean, like, college football is supposed to be fun. I mean, there's the small risk of injury, but there's risk of injury doing anything in life, and Kirby would never do that because it does not strike me as anything he would like to do. But I don't hate Rule, and I don't hate Nebraska for doing it because, like I said, it's cool. Like, it probably got the fans pumped. It probably helped sell out. Like, if they advertised it before the game,
might help with recruiting.
It probably helped. Yeah, it probably helped with recruiting. It probably helped basketball attendance. It probably helped everybody involved. So I think it's fun. And maybe, I'm sure a few guys got to sign up. It wasn't everybody mandatory. It was if you wanted to do it. And for some of these guys, like, they could be second, third, fourth stringers. This could be their biggest chance to do something big in a Nebraska uniform, like fans cheering for him. Because if they're third, fourth string guy, they may not be able to. So
do something big in a Nebraska uniform because you ain't getting the opportunity in a football uniform, bro.
I mean, it may be harsh, but it's not.
Maybe they're like a Mac McClung, man. Maybe he can't make it to the big show, to the main game, but like he's got some hops and he can, he's got a little niche talent.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, they had their quarterback out, their backup quarterback, Heinrich Harburg. They had tight end Thomas Vidone.
He's not German, is he?
I'm just
with the name like
I would assume very heavily that it was defensive back Jeremiah Charles, who ended up winning it, I believe, and running back Emmett Johnson, and then defensive lineman Kai Wallen, which that was kind of my first thought was like, man, dude, imagine like tearing an ACL because you wanted to dunk a basketball. But then there's also the flip side of how cool it is. You know that the Nebraska crowd had to have been eating that up. So pretty cool stuff. But yeah, you're right. I don't think that you could see.
I don't think you see that at a major program like
right.
Bama,
a
Ohio
major
State,
football
Georgia.
program,
like
yeah.
they're not doing that. But Nebraska's a program that needs a little life.
Besides, what else do you do in Lincoln, Nebraska?
You have corn on the cob.
Yeah, that's about it, right?
There you go. I can't speak on it because I haven't been there. So, yeah. Well, EA Sports, which, by the way, Chris Fowler has came out and said that he's been doing some commentary with Kirk Herbstreit in this, and he said seeing some of the things that he's been able to see from the game, a lot of people are going to not just be excited about this, but it's very realistic. So we'll see about that. Chris Fowler, how in touch is he with today's video games? I think, because
no.
He had some exposure to the previous generation. So, like, if he can compare it to what he saw at that point,
yeah,
because that's what fans want. They want basically the same game, just updated.
Yeah.
So if he's saying that they're going to be happy based on what he knows of the previous generations, like, I'll take his opinion for it for now.
Do you think that this game will be big enough to have people standing in front of GameStop for this, or are we just totally past this?
I kind of think so.
Yeah?
I mean, I don't know if you'll see swarms of people, but if you don't see 20,
most people
40,
will download.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So that was kind of where I was going to go with that, Caveman Rick, was that most people download. But what if EA Sports worked with GameStop and said, look, we're going to give you a full 24 hours before you can even download it on the console?
People would show up. There'd be lines out the door and around the buildings.
And wouldn't that be something cool for GameStop? Probably needs the help.
GameStop's about out of business.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So GameStop could use the help. Then it also, all right, what about people who may not really be interested in EA Sports College Football, but then all of a sudden on Twitter, all they're seeing is people standing outside
You can't do that. There's some people that don't have an access to a GameStop, and then they're just going to be SOL because they can't.
Well, we're talking about 24 hours. You could do that.
People aren't going to.
We'll see.
People will gripe about it.
I mean, this game's
okay, you gripe for 24 hours, and then your griping's over at that point. I think it would be a great thing. I don't think that they'll do this. But they could absolutely, if they wanted to, hold it off of the console for 24 hours, where the only way that you could download it is if you had the physical disc version, and the only way you could get the physical disc version is if you go to GameStop and get it, and then in 24 hours, then everyone can download it at that point. But just for the sake of nostalgia, this would be so. I mean, if you know what, if this game can't do it, I'll tell you a game that's going to be able to do it, and I don't know when it is dropping. And I'm way more excited about EA Sports College Football. But Grand Theft Auto 6 is a game that only comes out, or Grand Theft Auto only comes out like every new
console.
Console coming out. So I mean, Grand Theft Auto 6 could do it, but I'd love to see people standing outside of.
I think there's a good chance. I mean, college football people are crazy. I mean, we see that on a weekly basis during the season.
Well, plus it's been over a dozen years people have been waiting for.
Yeah.
So I mean that also helps too. You know, it's like they tell you in showbiz, what's the biggest thing? Like leave people wanting more, right? Well, if you're wanting more, this is it.
I think they are going to leave us wanting more too when the game comes out.
DLC.
Well, DLC is more for like shooters and stuff like
They'll
that.
They'll find a way, man.
Well, here's how they do that though, because
if you like Oregon, if you want to have this week's new uniform, you're gonna have to buy it.
If they were smart, they would make the first iteration a lot less of that. get people suckered back into it, and then you start milking them, a little bit at a time in the next year's and the year after that and the year after that, because you don't want to start them off on a bad note. You want to get them sucked back in, and then you start doing that.
I don't know if there's no way that there's not going to be a massive amount of complaints, even if like someone like me who's very easy to please, right? And so like I'll get the game and I'll be like, man, this is so awesome, so glad to be playing, and then just like the rest, I'll see on Twitter like everyone hates it.
First complaint, I guarantee you, is going to be everybody's going to go to play it, and the damn servers are going to be shut down because you're going to have too mmany people playing. And the first week, it's going to be like that Call of Duty that one time where you couldn't even play for the whole damn week because the servers were just fried or something like that.
Yeah, no, that's you definitely have that, and then you'll have the people like, oh well, I wanted to have this certain mode and they didn't have that, and oh, Kirby Smart's not in the game. Oh my gosh, can't believe that my coach. And then what's going to be really interesting is in creative player, there's going to be, if they don't opt in, if a certain player doesn't opt into that $600 deal or whatever, then his name, like you're not going to be able to utilize his name, so you won't be able to create a player with his name. That's going to be odd because there's going to be a lot of people. Well, yeah, you could do that, but what I'm saying is, let's say there's a guy out there whose name is, let's go with Carson Beck, right? That could be, it's not a very popular name, but I'm sure that there's more than one Carson Beck here in America. And if Carson Beck doesn't opt in, then that Carson Beck guy, the average Joe guy, couldn't end up making his own character.
So name him Beck Carson then.
Oh yeah, but would you want to go around calling yourself Rick Caveman?
I'm cool with it.
All right.
Especially do you think we see a major player not opt in?
I think
5,000 players already have. So.
Yeah, like if you're getting NIL money, what's the $600 in the copy of the game? You probably get more attention saying, "Hey, I'm not going to be in it." If you're a high profile player, you'll get some pub, from some people.
You know what else? What I think could happen is some of these players halfway through the season not liking how something goes out. Hey man, take me out of that game, bro.
They don't like the rating.
Yeah,
I don't like my rating, so I don't want to be in the game, man. You didn't give me a 99 on my speed.
Oh man.
That could be wild. But hey, we'll find out a little bit more in May, and then that game will be dropping in July, and we'll be doing some live reviews on the air. How does that sound?
Or negotiating. Hey, I'll be in the game if you'll give me these stats.
Yeah. Oh, man, I just hope we don't get to that point in the season. I wonder if Madden players ever know, like during preseason, they're looking at their numbers and wanting them to change. But it's like if in week one, if you have a good week, your attributes could go up. If you have a bad week, your attributes could go down. I think Madden does a really good job, as good of a job as you possibly can, trying to put numbers to something that does not have a legitimate number beside it in real life. You guys are riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. Hey, we will try to get in some college football here in the next segment. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're taking the Inside Drive.
This is Ryan from the Inside Drive on ESPN Northwest Florida. Join me and Jay right here.
Listen weekdays for the greatest sports talk show of all time.
Maybe you're overselling it just a little.
The #1 sports talk show in the South.
Dial that down a little more, Jay.
Okay, how about this? The Inside Drive, weekdays 11 to 1, ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the only sports talk show on in that time slot.
Nailed it.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. Partly cloudy tonight with a moderate breeze out of the south around 16 miles per hour and temps near 64. We will have mostly clouds tomorrow morning and be quite warm at 69. And mostly cloudy in the afternoon and evening and a high 70. Mostly clouds Thursday with a temp of 66. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumberyard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia. Stop by Bill Bird Kia during the President's Day sales event going on now and drive away the new 2024 Kia. Now offering 4.25% APR up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sportage. You get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. Kia.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sportage with $2,267 per month per 1,000 financed at 48 months. Quantity limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Billboard Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 3/4/24.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Call in with your questions, hot takes, and rants at 850-215-6290.
I'm sure that most of you have used a dial telephone before.
The Sports Talk Monster.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You guys are riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Calls and text to 850-215-6290. Or you can follow along with us over there on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, all at ESPN Northwest Florida. And I encourage you guys, if you have any time next Monday, which is March 4th from 5:30 to 9 p.m., they're going to have a throwback to Los Antojitos at Ferrucci Restaurant. They're going to have some of their favorite menu items, which is queso, ceviche, shrimp tacos, carne asada, tacos, and their famous margaritas, plus some live entertainment and a raffle. All of this to benefit the Bay High Sailing Team. If you'd like to purchase any sponsorships, you can contact bayhighsailing@gmail.com. That's bayhighsailing@gmail.com. We had the young men in the building with us about a month ago or so, and great stories they have. So go help out the Bay High Sailing Team. If nothing else, be over there at Ferrucci's Monday, March 4th at 5:30. And especially if you're a fan of the old Los Antojitos, because they're bringing that menu back.
Yeah, no doubt. Coach Manley, go get you some of the margaritas.
There you go, man. There you go. And then Arnold, they are headed down to DeLand, Florida. That game starts in about 35 minutes for the semifinal in the 5A state championship. As Ryan mentioned on the Inside Drive today, the last time Arnold won in 2021, it was the 4A title that they won. So now they're in 5A. Hopefully they can bring home the bacon. It's also Coach Hammond's wife's birthday today, so happy birthday to her. Coach, win one for the wife. And if you want to watch it, you can go to NFHS Network. That's NFHSnetwork.com. It's $13.99 for a monthly subscription, or you can go to Dave and Buster's, and they will be streaming the game live this evening. All right, before we dive into some of the odds for the college football playoff, Lane Kiffin shared on Twitter a hype video that Ole Miss released of Trey Harris, the wide receiver, and Jackson Dart. And it was not very much hype to it. But Lane Kiffin, I forget what the response was. It's something along the lines of, please don't ever do this again. I love Coach Kiffin's Twitter, man. That is
it's a great follow.
A guy that keeps it real.
It does. It's always hilarious because, like, somebody, the Athletic will be like, oh, is Lane Kiffin making a mistake by hiring this person? And he'll retweet it, quote tweet it, and bring it back up and just do like a shrugging shoulder emoji. I actually thought you were talking about Jackson Dart actually signed with a private airline, NIL. So I thought that's kind of what you were talking about initially. But Lane Kiffin's Twitter, like he'll talk about Nick Saban being the GOAT, and he'll talk about Nick Saban being his dad and whatever else on there, like leading up to the games last year, which when you lose the way they do against Nick Saban, it's not a great look when you do that before the game. But super entertaining guy. Not a guy I'm 100% sure I'd want in Athens if Kirby were to leave. But as watching him from afar at a team like Ole Miss that I don't hate, I've got nothing kind of for or against him, right? It's a great place for him to be because he's just entertaining enough that it keeps him interesting, but not enough that I have to,
Oh, they've deleted the hype video. Oh. And earlier when I saw this, the hype video was still there, but I'm looking at Lane's Twitter right now, and it says this post is unavailable. But he had the little face palming emoji.
What were they doing in the video?
It was just like one of those drone videos where they kind of it would be great if it was high school. You know what I mean? But we're talking about Ole Miss football here, and Trey Harris and Jackson Dart are basically throwing the football to one another, and it's just just that. And Lane says, please don't ever do this again. But yeah, Jackson Dart signing with Nicholas Air, innovative private air travel. So if he ever is late to a game, that's going to be problematic.
Bad look for the sponsor.
Yeah, first athlete to sign with a private jet company. Through the deal with Nicholas Air, he can use the company's fleet of jets for travel, training, and philanthropy.
It's a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, it's better than who got the deal that we were just talking about?
Sark,
yeah, Sark,
20
hours of the jet of Texas. Jackson Dart's got a better deal than Sark.
Well, he's also not getting $10 million a year plus either. So
we don't know that. We don't.
But hey, it depends on how many trips you take and how far they are. It could, tally up to more than that money.
Hey, I mean, that's...
Yeah, Johnny Manziel said that his dad went to Kevin Sumlin and was wanting $3 million.
That was for 2 more years, I think.
Yeah, okay, so $1.5 million. Look, Matt Rule, right on point, right? $1.5 million, $2 million.
Hey, that was 10 years ago. You got to include inflation now. It's everything.
Yeah, Matt Rule, you're underpaying these guys, man. But yeah, and Kevin Sumlin kind of laughed it off. It's like, no way. Like, y'all go ahead and head on, and the rest was history. But Johnny Manziel wishes that he might have stayed. I think another year or two in college would have at least gave him a better reality. If
it would have lengthened his NFL career, I think.
But he had to take it serious. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't think that he was in a mindset at that point in time to take it serious.
I really don't think there's anything anybody could have done to change his mind on something like that. And it's unfortunate because obviously he was a very fun player to watch.
He's just one of those players that, he didn't love the game. He loved what the game could do for him.
I don't agree with that.
Really?
I think he did love the game. I think that he was in a point in his life where there was things that meant more to him than the game did. So it's not that the game didn't mean anything to him, but it was just like he didn't make the professional choices, and so he had to live with that. But to say he doesn't love it, why would he still be playing Canadian football and stuff?
He loved the game so much, it would have been more of a priority in his life, and he would have done more with it.
Well, but we do things
all
as
the
human
extracurriculars,
right? But that's what separates the great from the who's good at the game, who has the talent. Because there's people who have way more talent than what some of these other NFL quarterbacks do. But the difference is when they're not with anyone, they're doing their own thing. The difference with the athletes who are making it, when they're not with anyone, they're doing things to get better at the thing that it is that they want to do. So, that's just, it's one of those things. I can't knock Johnny Manziel for it because it's human. It's being a human.
Especially if the game came super easy to him up through even the college level to an extent. Like, you get to the NFL, you kind of do what's been working for you, and then it doesn't work for you anymore.
Yeah.
And it's hard to kind of grow those habits if you don't have the right support system. I'm not saying he did or didn't, but without the perfect situation, it's hard to grow habits at 21, 22 years old when you just got paid $30 million.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is, and then your dad's trying to kind of wanting to profit off of it, which I'm not knocking that either. But, I think in these days, right? In these days, if your dad's sitting there talking, man, this is all the money that we can make, rather than, man, this is how you could get to each level. And at each level, you're gonna make a little bit of money here in college, but if you're going to college to make money, then I think we're gonna get a nice sample size here in the next 5 to 10 years of the kids who go to school for money and the kids who go to school for the love of the game, and which kids do better, because that's gonna be your separator of talent. And you can have all the talent in the world, but your work ethic is going to take you higher than that. Yeah, who gets complacent?
Real quick though, it's interesting that Cam Newton got allegedly $180,000 in 2010, but Johnny Manziel is asking for $1.5 million. 3 years later? Golly, inflation hit that quarterback market hard.
Yeah, but that's also the highs. You know what I mean? He's got all of the accolades there, and then you get the Heisman. Then you're like, hey man, I beat Bama. I did what we came to do at this point. So, and imagine. Well, here's the other thing: take Mike Evans off that team.
Yeah.
Then what kind of a Johnny Manziel are we looking at? And then let's say that Johnny Manziel actually watches film and does what he's supposed to do, and then what kind of a Johnny Manziel are we looking at,
It's a great what if.
It is. And it's not even Wednesday. to be Tuesday. Let's see here. All right, so some of the odds for the NCAA football college playoff here, 2024-2025, which is going to be, oh man, so it's a home game for Georgia this year.
The championship game's in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mercedes-Benz. All right, so who is Georgia playing in the national championship? Georgia is the odds-on favorite at plus 325.
To win it all? Is that the odds?
This is national championship.
Okay.
I didn't want the national championship odds. I wanted just to get to the playoffs, though. So I'll have to.
I want to say I saw one earlier that Georgia was like minus 900 to make the playoff, like something kind of incredible.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to look for, was just for the college football playoff. And I have it on I have it on the show sheet, but I can't click a link right here on this piece of paper, so I'll have to pull that up. But even at plus 325 to win the championship, how are you feeling about that while I'm pulling this up, Tyler?
I mean, I think that's about what we were going into the year this year. And I mean, it's not bad, 3.5. We're going to have, you have one of the best quarterbacks in the country coming back, Carson Beck, Heisman favorite, or tied for the Heisman favorite right now. Georgia's got a great roster. Kirby Smart's proven now he can win some of these bigger games. And no Nick Saban. I mean, there's no active Power 5 head coach that's beaten Kirby Smart since 2018, 2017, something like that. Like Gus Malzahn is the only Power 5 head coach that's still an active Power 5 head coach who has beaten Kirby Smart. So, Nick Saban stepping down is actually kind of like a relief for Georgia fans. So it's, there's going to be other things for everybody else, but with Nick Saban gone, it's like give me the chances against everybody else, and I'll take my shot.
Well, let's go over to the phone line. We'll carry this segment into the next segment if we need to. Michigan Eddie, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. What you got for us today?
Go with Trey Series. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? You're kind of breaking up.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
All right, speaking of Johnny Manziel, I was stationed at Davis Mountain Air Force Base in Tucson, home of the University of Arizona, driving to see my sister in San Antonio. I got my first ticket just west of San Antonio on I-10 in Kerrville, Texas. Guess who went to high school there? Just saying.
Johnny Manziel.
Yes, he did. Ivy High School. Just saying. You guys brought up Johnny Manziel, so I just put a story in there, brother.
Hey, there you go. I love it, man. That's a great story. I love it. Let's see here. Harbaugh with the Chargers. Got to ask you a question before we get you off here. Harbaugh with the Chargers. Should he draft Blake Corum if he's available?
Yeah, anybody should if he's available. Dumb question. Of course.
Dumb question? Great answer. Great answer for a dumb question.
He is a genuine gentleman on and off the field, bar none. A dude that you would want your daughter to bring home to you to meet, man. No, straight up. I'm not just saying that he's a Michigan guy. I'm saying that because what he does off the field, too, is he's got character. He loves the Lord. He gives back to the community, and he's great. He's great on the field, man. He's got good feet. He can make that cut and all that. And he's got heart, man. He's got heart.
All right,
there's no doubt.
Let's do this. Let's take it from a dumb question to a mediocre question. All right.
Okay.
The Chargers are going to be picking at number 5. Do you take Blake Corum at number 5?
I don't know the Chargers' other needs, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I still think it's a dumb question, to be honest with you, because I don't know anybody who's going to be taking a running back there. But I was just curious to see if you want, like, how bad maybe Harbaugh would want a Michigan guy. And apparently, the Chargers are not going to be franchise tagging Austin Eckler. So that's kind of where I was trying to come up with that question off the cuff.
And, no such thing as a stupid question, brother. I'm sorry. I was just like, you caught me off guard with that question, and I'm just like, and I didn't know Chargers were picking that high, but I don't think any running back is going that high. I don't think there's a running back that's going to go in the top 10, 15, because there's quarterbacks, you got Marvin Harrison, you got a lot of defensive players that are going to come off the board before 15. So that's a stretch.
Probably not the first 2 rounds.
Michigan Eddie, it was definitely a dumb question. You were 100% right in that. I take no offense to the truth at all.
All right, okay. Can I say something about the women's national team?
For sure.
Real quick. It's karma. You mocked the Lord, Rapinoe. Look what you did. You cursed your team. And you want to know something? How about you get to play in soccer and be proud to wear the red, white, and blue instead of all this off-the-field shenanigans? Hopefully we got the cancers off the team, except for that one who said Americans are idiots. They don't know soccer. I'm sorry, but we do know soccer, by the way. You know, I played a little college soccer back in the day. My daughter played college soccer. So us Americans do know about soccer, you know. So just saying that. So maybe, Karma, shut your trap and just play soccer and represent your country, the red, white, and blue, baby. And also, I got to say one more thing because I'm on a roll. About when your first and second segment, you said that the Big Duke and UNC might not be attractive to the Big Ten and all that because of athletics, whatever. You know, it has nothing to do with athletics, brother. What it has to do with, because the Big Ten is a huge grant and research conference, especially in the medical field. So you bring Duke and UNC and their medical facilities into the Big Ten, we're going to love them all day. You know how much money, millions, if not billions, of research money that brings into the conference? A lot more than athletics. Go ahead. What say you?
I say y'all bring Wake Forest and Vanderbilt right along with them then. No, I think that would be good. I mean, and that will make the Big Ten more competitive I mean, not like they need to be. Big Ten's more is as competitive as they need to be in all of the sports. But yeah, I mean, Duke and North Carolina over there, that would be fine with me. I think no matter what, just like I think Duke and North Carolina need to stay in the same conference wherever it is that they go, though.
Yeah, no, you're right. I totally forgot about Wake Forest. A very good school as well. Totally forgot about them. But then the SEC, you know, you got UF and Vandy that are huge research schools in the medical field, and then you got the engineering schools such as Auburn and so forth that are great engineering schools. And Michigan's, the Big Ten's got engineering schools as well. So SEC and Big Ten are kind of, you know, you can call one the Big Ten North, Big Ten South, SEC North, SEC South, because they're kind of comparable in so many ways. It's just the fan bases, I guess. Who wants to? You know,
yeah.
Where do you want your school to go?
You're right, man. Yeah, and we're not going to give you Vanderbilt either. We need to keep Vanderbilt over here, so at least, you know, we've got something shining in the academic department. And Florida as well. And Auburn's got to stick around same way. Alabama, Auburn, North Carolina, and Duke. And for that sake, that's why Florida State needs to be in the SEC. So what if we could just, you know, if we can give Florida State academically Big Ten credentials and then athletically they're in the SEC? How would that work out?
Well, I'll tell you, Florida State's trying to right the ship academically, because usually when I was growing up, the state schools were for girls and for partying. You go to the University of said state to get the education.
Yeah.
So now Florida State's trying to reverse that trend, and it's getting a lot harder to get into Florida State than it used to be. Because I guess, just saying. So, you know, so they're trying to reverse that trend on that, man. So we'll see if Florida State can be, you know, a good academic school, not just a party school that they're known for, by the way, you know. And UF is a great school. They're one of the best in the country, mind you. So, you know, chomp chomp, you know. And their med school is phenomenal. That's who I see for my oncologist now. So they're one of the best, like with MD Anderson and all that.
I'm curious, with the chomp chomp, you know, being the sound that a gator makes. Tell me what sound a Wolverine makes.
Oh, they're ferocious, like a lion, like a wolf, kind of like a crossbreed, like an inbred. You know what I'm saying?
Tasmanian devil,
like that, man. Row, like that. What do you say?
I love it, man. I love it. Michigan Eddie, we're up against the break. Go ahead and hit me with your sign off.
Go Blue Shark Series, we're going to 22 back to 10-0. Go Blue, baby. And Harbaugh, we trust even in LA. Go sure one more, baby. And Red Wings, we're back. Showtime. Patty Kane. And it's awesome. Let's go Red Wings Hockey Town. I'm out. See ya.
I love it. We are out, too. We've got one more segment. You guys are riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd. Caitlin Clark, Iowa Star, broke the NCAA women's hoop scoring record. She's the biggest star in college basketball, men's and women's. TV ratings, they just beat a Miami-Boston Celtic game about 3 weeks ago. Why? One of the reasons, she's now familiar.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. Partly cloudy tonight with a moderate breeze out of the south around 16 miles per hour and temps near 64. We will have mostly clouds tomorrow morning and be quite warm at 69. and mostly cloudy in the afternoon and evening and a high 70. Mostly clouds Thursday with a temp of 66. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumberyard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey there, business owners. Do you feel lost in a sea of numbers, struggling to navigate your day-to-day accounting? At Lighthouse CPAs, they specialize in guiding businesses to make more money and keep more of what you make. From bookkeeping to tax planning, they've got you covered. Plus, with their user-friendly software, managing your finances has never been easier. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Call Lighthouse CPAs 850-785-5254.
Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer, located 2241 East Baldwin Road. Running now through March 5th, we've got a 10% discount on new units as well as order outs. And there's a couple aged units in there that will have an additional 5 or 10% discount to them. Come see me, Rick, at RV of Panama City, your Stormore portable building dealer, located 2241 East Baldwin Road.
It moves fast. The High School Spotlight. Weekdays at 5:40.
Let's do it.
Sponsored by Barbaritos. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back in the doghouse. This is the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Tyler Bishop and Caveman Rick. This is our final segment of the afternoon. Encourage you guys to support Arnold Marlins soccer tonight as they are about to kick off. Or what do you call the start of a kicking game, of a soccer game?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
The kickoff, the ball drop. I don't know.
The ball drop. What do you call the beginning of a kickoff? Michigan Eddie with the kickoff. There you go. So shows our ignorance there. Lindsey Horan was speaking to us, Michigan Eddie. She may not have been talking about you, but she was spot on. And it's funny, too, because I was going through, we had Coach Hammond on the line with us the other day, and I was going through the Max Preps stats, and I'm like, dude, to be honest with you, I get shots on goal and assists, but outside of that, I don't know what to look at and be like, oh, this guy is doing some outstanding stuff. You know, it's like I see you score a lot of goals, or I see that you didn't lot of goals in as a goalkeeper. But outside of that, yeah, just not very good at reading the old stat sheet. So I'm going to have to take a crash course on YouTube, right? And I'll be up to snuff.
Yeah, no doubt. Hopefully, it can help you out. Get what is it Soccer for Dummies?
Soccer for Dummies, or just get an AI. Get an AI for soccer. What's that? The Google one, Bard or whatever. We got a text in from Wright State Chris. This could be interesting. I'd like to hear Caveman Rick's thoughts on this and Tyler's thoughts on this as well. Would Barry Sanders still be a top 5 pick? He was a 3rd pick overall, but would he be a top 5 pick this day and age?
I have to say no. Just the running back position is very devalued. Everybody thinks they can find one someplace else on the cheap. And, you know, if you take somebody that high, you're going to have to pay him. So you're going to risk injury and risk having some problems. So I think right now, no.
I have to agree with that, just for the sake that Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, none of those guys are even going to be franchise tagged. So, you know, that's going to be averaging out over the top 5 running backs and the contracts at that particular position, how the franchise tag would work out, which is like $11.5 million, I think. But still, the fact that those guys who are pretty important parts to their offense, that they're not even getting franchise
They just
tagged?
showed a 7th round in Pacheco could win the Super Bowl for you. So, I mean, that's damning.
But did Pacheco really did anything? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, Patrick Mahomes is why they won that Super Bowl. It had nothing to do with it.
Well, I mean, like, he's been on that team the last 2 years. They went to the Super Bowl last year. They won this year, okay? He's the running back. They don't have a 1st or 2nd round running back. They got a guy in the 7th round. That's just showing you get a guy in the 7th round, you can still win a championship. You can still go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, for sure. I mean, but we had, Zeke was 8 years ago, drafted number 4. Saquon was 6-ish, drafted number 4. We just had Bijan go number 8. So I'm not going to say he definitely would, but I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility either.
Plus, Barry didn't catch the ball to the backfield. He just pretty much ran. If you can catch the ball, too, like a McCaffrey, then I think
was that
helps.
more of like he couldn't, or just the game has changed so much in the last
That's probably
30
something,
years,
too.
35?
Yeah, because I would think a guy with the athletic ability that Deion Sanders had, that he would have been able to be a good receiving back as well.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I don't know.
But that's all we could do is we would like to think so.
I'm going to say probably not just because it's unlikely, but I don't think it's outside of the. I mean, Harbaugh sitting there at 5, the way he likes to play the game, like you're telling me he wouldn't be interested in Barry Sanders?
I mean, do you think there's any reality to Blake Corum like going that early?
No, 0% chance.
No,
0%.
You're not going to. He's going to get passed off like at least twice over by every team.
If there's a running back
like
in the
third
first
round or something,
I'll be surprised.
You know.
I don't think there's anybody going in the first round.
The only team that I would see doing it is, and it's just because like how much faith does Harbaugh have? Because that's the way he likes to run his team, right? And right now, the Chargers have been more of a when the rare times that they have their full complement of wide receivers out there, they like to run through Herbert. But Harbaugh, what have we seen from him over and over and over again? It starts with the run.
That high of a pick, if you're going to try to do that, you need to get somebody on the offensive line. You need to get a beast up front. Worry about the running back later on. You know what I'm saying? And then even if you wanted to take a skill player, you take Brock Bowers at 5.
Yes, sir. No, there's 0% chance like of running backs going at 5 this year. There's not somebody like maybe last year if Bijan was coming out this year, maybe. But there's not a prospect worthy of a top.
I mean, but I don't have any recollection of his Oklahoma State days.
Oh yeah, no.
You know, but still, right. But still would be interested in, like, who do you think was a better college running back? Was it Barry Sanders or was it Bijan Robinson?
Oh, I mean, I think Barry Sanders, if he was in this draft, could. I thought that we were talking about Blake Corum still.
Oh, my bad.
But I mean, Barry Sanders had arguably the best season of all time at Oklahoma State. His last year was like 2,600 yards when they didn't count bowl games.
Yeah. Because Blake's definitely more of a bowling ball type running back. Bijan is a running back who has it all. We don't got a lot. Is this right back to, all right, Michigan Eddie, go again, buddy.
Oh, okay. So everyone was making fun of Detroit and Brad Holmes for drafting Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round last year, right?
12, yeah.
Yeah, and look how that turned out. So even if Harbaugh, let's just say, did draft Blake Corum at 5, even though Little Eddie's saying that's too high, you can get him in the second round. But if he did, I mean, if Blake Corum had that awesome rookie year like Jahmyr Gibbs did, then you know he's Harbaugh and his GM's a genius, just like they're saying about MCDC and Brad Holmes right now.
Yeah, because when Detroit took Gibbs last year at 12, I was like, man, I do believe he's an elusive back and he can have a heck of an NFL career. But I'm just wondering at 12 there, but look at what it did for him. So, yeah, if Harbaugh has the feeling that Blake Corum won't come to them in the second round, I still couldn't see him doing it. But if it makes them look good at the end of the year, it doesn't matter where you get drafted or it doesn't matter where you draft guys if they pan out in the league. Because how many times do we see these offensive linemen or these talented wide receivers or whatever position it is that you draft a guy early in the first round, top 10, and they don't pan out? Well, it was a terrible draft, even though they graded them an A+ when you drafted them.
Exactly, and here's the thing: as a team, you got to draft for your team.
Yeah,
and you're gonna draft the best person that you think is going to better your team and on your needs. And who cares what the outside noise thinks? SCDC doesn't care what the noise thinks when he gambles. Neither does Brad Holmes about his picks. Like, he had Branch, Jack Campbell, and Jahmyr Gibbs were his first 3 picks last year. And how did they do? Pretty dang good, pal. Pretty dang good, Bubba Dave. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man.
I mean, let her rip, Harbaugh. Hey, MCDC, draft Corum too. We'll have a triple-headed snake back there. You know? Golly. And look. Just because they're graded high, look at Calvin Rogers out of Michigan State that the Lions drafted. How'd that turn out?
Yeah.
He was a bust. So grades don't mean crap, just like in draft grades or recruiting rankings. And that's why I always say people have too much priority on those grades. You got to coach them up and develop them and see the talent, and that's what makes them. It's the individual who's going to put in the work and the coaches that know how to coach them up instead of being just a moron.
Yeah,
a figurehead on the sideline.
Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco were talking about their combine grades, and Shannon Sharp's was an F37, and Chad Ochocinco's was an F38. But those guys turned out to be pretty dang good. Michigan Eddie, we only got 5 minutes left here, though, my friend, so we're going to go ahead and let you go, all right?
All right, you have a blessed night. See you. I'm out.
Hey, you do the same. That's Michigan Eddie again. I knew he was going to call back when we started talking a little bit more about Blake Corum. I love it, man. Love the interaction. What you want to finish the show out with today with, Tyler?
I was just going to say, I mean, if you draft a running back top 5, you're paying him top 10-ish running back money.
Yeah.
So he better produce, and he better produce right away. That's the bigger, because like you're not getting the value that you do at other positions as far as like the contract cap hit.
Which running back are you the most surprised that the team's not going to franchise tag him?
Ooh, man.
Like out of just kind of the big ones being.
I mean, I feel like it's got to be Pollard.
Yeah.
I mean, they let Zeke walk because of him. They paid him a little bit last year. I mean, he's probably the youngest besides maybe Jacobs. And I mean, we saw spurts of him in limited usage, but being the main guy. I mean, so I guess his production kind of warrants it. But I mean, they did give up on Zeke because of him. I mean, it kind of seemed like they're going to be their guy for 2 or 3 years. And the fact that it was a one and done situation after what we had seen from him is a little shocking. He didn't produce better.
I think the most surprising. Go ahead, Caveman.
I was going to say, I think it just depends on the offense that you're running. You know, if you just need a solid just running back that's just going to pound the rock, then you go after like a Derrick Henry or Josh Jacobs. But if you want a guy that's going to be able to catch the ball in the backfield and make some other plays for you, then I think you go for like a Saquon or an Austin Eckler.
No, we're saying which team are you most surprised that they didn't franchise tag or work a new deal out with?
Which team?
So like
which running
Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler, Tony Pollard. Derrick Henry, I don't think no one's
Probably
surprised.
Henry then, because I mean he's your best weapon.
Oh, I mean,
Tennessee should be keeping him. I mean, like, what else you got?
Now, Rain Carthon did come out today and said that if they have an opportunity to work a deal out with Derrick Henry, they will. But I think that they're also going to go to Derrick Henry and be like, hey, we're not going to have any hard feelings if you want to go to a place that you've got a better opportunity to win. Now, I don't know if they'll actually say that, because then you're essentially saying, hey, we're not going to be that good next year. And you got to go through the full offseason to even have an idea if you're not going to be that good, if you've got a mentality of winning. But I don't think Derrick Henry, as sad as I'll be about it, I don't think he'll be a Tennessee Titan next year. So for me, the most surprising out of all of them is Austin Eckler, just because Harbaugh's coming in now. They do have some troubles at the top there. When it comes to their financial, to their salary cap. But then again, they could just, go into people's contracts and say, boom, we're changing this contract to a bonus, and so we're only paying you this, and we'll rework it that way. But to me, Austin Eckler is probably the most surprising. Secondarily would be, I was going to say Saquon, but because of all of the riffraff that they had through the offseason last year, I guess it's not that surprising. And the Raiders have no idea which direction they're going, but
I think when you have new coaching staffs, it's kind of hard to say because you don't know what the philosophy is, or like the coach just might like, hey, personally, like this guy, I just don't like him that much, and I just don't want him on my team, and I just want to, move on from him and find somebody else.
That's a good point, but I think Antonio Pierce and Josh Jacobs. I was
talking about those guys. I was talking about maybe Harbaugh, in Chargers with Eckler or something like that, possibly.
That's a good take, man. That's a good take. Where would you like to see Brock Bowers go? As a Georgia fan, where would you like to see him go?
Philly.
I'd like to see him go to the Chargers at 5. I think Harbaugh would use him well. Justin Herbert, you're talking an established quarterback. But ideally, anybody towards the end of the first round, right? The Chiefs, the Niners, the Ravens. I mean, the odds of him falling that low, slim to none.
Eagles at 22.
If he goes to the Chiefs, Chiefs, I might not watch football in 2024 because I'll just throw all my money that I have on a future for the Chiefs Super Bowl.
The Texans, the Titans, some offensive coordinators that have proven they can be a little bit more, because he's not going to be your normal tight end. He's going to be a little undersized, probably a little smaller guy for that position, but he's a guy who's proven can be effective with the ball in his hands. So you want to see somebody that's going to be able to utilize that, not somebody like Arthur Smith and what he's done with Kyle Pitts, right? That was super disappointing. So, he's in Pittsburgh now, so I don't want to see him to go to Pittsburgh. But that's outside of that, I want to see him somewhere that's going to utilize his skill set.
Josh McDaniels always did a lot of stuff with 2 tight ends.
Where is he at? Is he back with New England? No. Where is Josh McDaniels?
I'm trying to think, and I was just
I don't think he's anywhere. He got fired. He got fired from the Raiders, and then that's when Antonio Pierce took over as the interim coach, and now he's got the full-time gig over there. You guys are you rode with the Afternoon Underdogs. That's going to do it for us today. Coach James Hale Show is going to be live at 7 in the morning. Then the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey and Jay Henley at 11. Afternoon Underdogs back tomorrow at 4. You guys have a great rest of your evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Just remember, Jesus loves you, so do I.
ESPN Northwest Florida is taking it to the hole. Your home for the most live college basketball on the Gulf Coast. The ACC, SEC, and the biggest games in the country. Plus the official